Greetings, AMCers. My name's John Campia. This Friday, August the 26th, the brand new comedy Our Idiot Brother opens in AMC theaters everywhere. Now, recently, I had a chance to sit down and talk to the star of the film and one of my personal favorite comedic actors, Mr. Paul Rudd. Check it out.
Officer Washburn, how you doing today?
Listen, Ned, you wouldn't happen to know where I can get some,
Even if I did, do you really think I'd tell you?
It's been a hard week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here you go, officer.
Hey, thanks, man. Wow.
Hey, I'm Ned.
Every great interview starts with a sports analogy, and a few of us were talking after the film about how, Jim Thome is about to hit his 600th home run.
Right.
Very quietly has gone about becoming one of the greatest power hitters in the history of baseball.
Absolutely.
And we started talking about Paul Rudd and how they compare, because we started talking about how very quietly Paul Rudd has gone on to become one of the greatest comedic film actors of our generation. And
Wow.
when I start listing, in my head, my 5 top comedies of the past decade, you star in 4 of them. So what is it about you as a comedic performer that allows you to come into just about any comedy and bring the best out of everybody else that's around you?
What a flattering thing to hear, but two, a very cool way to approach it. Like it's a utility player. There's just my favorite. Growing up as a kid, I was always a diehard Steelers fan. I was in the '70s Steelers, so that was my team. Loved them, and my favorite player. During that time, in a way, my favorite player of all time was John Stallworth, who's a Pro Football Hall of Fame player. But he was on a team with Lynn Swann and Bradshaw and Mean Joe Green and Franco Harris and Jack Lambert, all of these great players. And I remember thinking, I always see them in interviews, but I never would see Stallworth in an interview.
Right.
He was just kind of and throughout. My whole life, my favorite players on sports teams were always the guys that just kind of showed up, did their job, and you didn't hear from them too much.
And still wind up with 5 rings or something.
Yeah, to be kind of put in that category, is incredible. That's an amazing thing to hear. That's really cool. Now I'm racing, I was just saying this the other day, how come nobody talks about Todd Helton?
So
Thome is the
talking about Idiot Brother.
Let's just talk about baseball.
Yeah. So in Our Idiot Brother, you have this incredible family, 4 very distinct different siblings, and the sisters who all seem to be living in denial in one way or another, and their brother who kind of becomes a mirror to them to see what's going on in their own lives in a way. How did you guys decide to approach, Ned as a character in contrast to his 3 very different siblings?
Well, when I read this script, I thought that the character was pretty vivid, and I also saw the guy as not, even though I kind of figured, I saw the way that he would dress in a certain way, and,
right.
and the way that I would look and that kind of thing. And then the title is pretty vivid too. But
Right.
I never saw the character as being really a caricature of that kind of stuff. I didn't look at him ever think about being a pothead, and I never thought of him as being an idiot either.
Right.
I just really the main thing is it's a guy, and it was something that we put in the script after before we started shooting. But Jesse and I were talking and saying, I think it's important that we have this moment when he acknowledges that he has chosen to live his life a certain way, which is and to see the best in people, and that it doesn't always work out. But I believe that if you give people the benefit of the doubt, that they'll want to live up to that.
Great line.
And it's that right there makes him not an idiot, and that's the character. It's not the Crocs, and it's not the selling marijuana to a cop, and it's not long hair and a beard. It's none of that stuff. So this is a character that's just very, very kind of unburdened by certain things, but is living his life in a just very different way than all of the other characters. So.
Right. Well, the film is so charming. Congratulations on it. We can't wait to have it in AMC screens.
Oh man, thanks so much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
a lot.
Really appreciate it. Our Idiot Brother opens in AMC theaters everywhere this Friday, August 26th, but there's no need to wait to get your tickets. Follow the links in this post to buy your tickets online right now. I'm John Campia for AMC Theaters, where movies live.